In this video, I'm going to be doing the camera review of the new Samsung Galaxy A55 5G. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully you guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. We have the new Samsung Galaxy A55 5G. Took this out into downtown Claremont and took some photos and took some videos and stuff like that on this. And I have to say I am pleasantly surprised. There's definitely an improvement on camera stabilization as far as like the video goes, and even some of the photos and stuff like that from the A54 to A55. So the cameras are getting better. They're getting much closer to the flagship variants of the Samsung S series devices, and that's probably one of the reasons why the A55 did not release in the United States. But of course, our rear-facing cameras are going to be a triple camera setup right here. Very beautiful design right here. We kind of have these accents that match the color of the phone right here. Very elegant design. But as for our triple camera setup on this phone, our main camera is going to be a 50 megapixel wide camera. Our secondary is going to be a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and our third is going to be a 5 megapixel macro, capable of recording at 4K 30 frames per second or 1080p 30 and 60 frames per second. So really do like this rear facing camera, and even the front facing camera, as you guys are going to see in a little bit, has some good quality photos and videos. But our front facing camera is going to be rated at 32 megapixels, also capable of wide angle mode on it as well. And you guys are going to be able to shoot at 1080p 30 and 60 frames per second, as well as 4K at 30 frames per second. So before we get into some of the samples that I took earlier today, I definitely want to take you guys through a little tour right here. As you guys can see, we have our portrait mode on here. We have a fun mode that gives us little types of emojis and stuff for our Snapchat and stuff like that. As far as our video goes, as I said, UHD 30 frames per second or FHD up to 60 frames per second. And these are all the cool modes right here. Of course, you have AR Zone, you have Bixby Vision, you have our Pro mode, Pro Video. Obviously, with that, you can go ahead and customize your ISO and white balance and all that type of stuff. You have your night mode for taking pictures at night, food, panorama, macro, slow motion, super slow-mo, hyperlapse, all that cool stuff right here. So definitely going to show you some photos right now, guys. We are going to do a comparison between this device and the A35, and I definitely did see some differences, but we're going to go ahead and roll the photos right now and then roll some of the videos that I took on this phone as well, and then we'll talk about it after this. Alright guys, so this is the front facing camera, 30 frames per second, 1080p, a loud train with this little horn going on right now. But this is the Galaxy A55, 1080p, 30 frames per second. Let me know what you guys think. And of course we have full HD, 60 frames per second as well on this device. Honestly looking smooth compared to some other devices I've seen around this price point. It's looking good though, it's looking decent. Samsung doing a good job on these A series devices. There you go, full HD, 60 frames per second. Wow. Of course, UHD 30 frames per second right here. This is how that looks. 4K 30 frames per second. I think it's looking quite nice. Definitely updated the sensors on these devices. Of course, going to the rear facing camera on the Galaxy A55, running 1080p 30 frames per second. Got a little 3.5 times zoom right there.
Very, very stable. 0.5 times zoom, so we have a wide angle mode that we can go and use on here. Zoom, looking good. Now full HD 60 frames per second on the Samsung Galaxy A55. This is how that is looking. I think it looks quite good as well. Let's go ahead and walk up here. Got the chocolate bash. I like this place a lot, Cafe X2O. That's my place right there. This is how this is looking though. 1080p, 60 frames per second. Looking pretty decent. And as for UHD on the Galaxy A55, this is what you can expect. UHD 4K. Let's go and zoom in a little bit. It's looking closer and closer to a flagship phone every single year with the A50 series and A30 series, and even A very much surprised me. There was a huge jump on the A15, but the Galaxy A55 4K only goes up to 30 frames per second. We're not going to be going up to 60 frames per second or whatever, but this is how this looks for 4K at 30 frames per second.
Alright guys, so those are the pictures and videos that you can expect on the new Samsung Galaxy A55 5G. I think the biggest thing that we can take away from this video has to be that the stabilization and the sensors are getting much better in A series phones from Samsung. So definitely kudos to Samsung for improving that. I know they're doing a lot of good stuff right here. As far as this price point goes though, for this camera, if you guys are picking this up in the United States, obviously it's going to be around $400 if you guys want to pick it up from Amazon Unlock. This is not technically a United States phone, but if you guys are looking for a phone around 500 bucks, I can recommend this, but I still think the Galaxy S23 FE is a better option, especially for getting more bang for your buck. But with this device, I really do like this, especially for the people overseas in Europe and Asia and everywhere else. This is a decent phone. I really did enjoy this. The stabilization is good. I feel like the photos are pretty true to life as well. That was one of the things that I could differentiate straight away from the Galaxy A35 and this A55 is this had more natural colors with our photos on this compared to the A35 with its like kind of high contrasty type of look. But overall, I think the Galaxy A55 is a solid camera for the price point that I picked it up at. I think after everything was said and done, it was like $450 or something like that. So did enjoy this camera. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and I'm sure a lot of you have the Galaxy A55, and tell me your experience as well. But hopefully you guys have a beautiful day wherever you are. This has been Safan from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.